Hey y'all, Chelsea and Danny here.
Enjoy this episode of Today's Homeowner here on YouTube.
Fireplaces are a perfect place for great conversation, and I'll bet these two have witnessed a few good ones.
Today's Homeowner with Danny Lipford, the voice of home improvement, with projects, tips, and ideas to help you improve your home.
Welcome to the show this week. We're in Philadelphia in one of the most famous rooms in America, the Assembly Room here at Independence Hall, where the Declaration of Independence was signed. Now that event and many other events that took place in this room really helped to define our government as we know it today. I can just imagine the conversation and debate that took place in this room during the winter months in front of these large fireplaces. Well, if you have a fireplace at your home, you know it tends to be that gathering spot for great conversation and maybe a few debates of your own at your house. Well, this week we're going to make it all across Philadelphia to look at a number of different fireplace options. Wood-burning fireplaces, wood-burning stoves, natural gas fireplaces, and a number of other options that are available to help you create that warm, cozy atmosphere in your own home. Stay with us. It's just amazing the sense of history you get when you're in a room like this. I mean, just think, July 4th, 1776, the Declaration of Independence was signed right there. A year later, the American flag design was approved, and 10 years later, the U.S. Constitution was drafted right here in this room. Now, one gentleman that was very instrumental with all these events loved to sit right here, Benjamin Franklin. Now, you might not realize what an important role he played in inventing the fireplace as we know it today. Now, he was one of the first ones to realize that a lot of the heat generated in a firebox like this would escape through the back wall. So he designed a fireplace that would sit more towards the center of the room so that you could benefit from the heat generated in that fireplace throughout the entire room. It's called the Franklin stove. It's still available today. Now, as housing styles changed over the years and more technology was introduced in fireplaces, it really made a lot more options available for the American home. Earlier today, we looked at a number of those models. Jerry, you just have so many different fireplaces here. I'm with Jerry Woodward, who has a fantastic showroom. And Jerry, help us out with homeowners that might be thinking about adding a fireplace to their home and they really want a wood-burning fireplace. What do they need to consider?
Well, it just depends on what their aspirational requirements are.
Okay.
Some people are just looking for a fireplace to be for the ambiance,
right,
for a place to burn wood in the evening before they go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Other people are looking for something that's a heat source, something that has the ability to heat the whole house.
Well, I know with technology these days that that certainly has improved the efficiency of most fireplaces. This one certainly has a unique look to it.
Yes, this particular model is an EPA-approved unit that's controlled combustion. It enables the unit to reburn the gases within the fireplace before they escape out of the flue. So we're maximizing the efficiency and getting all the heat we can from a stick of wood.
Okay, so you're getting more use out of the wood. And now what about the doors? Is it best for the doors to be open or closed to really get the maximum efficiency?
Well, this enables us to burn it either way. We can burn it where they're just enjoying the flame and hearing the crackling of the wood, or they can close the doors and get that all-night burn. Get the ability to load it up and come back in the morning, the house is warm and there's still a fire going.
Okay, now a lot of the older houses that have old masonry fireplaces, they're not very efficient. What can they do?
Well, here we have some examples of fireplace inserts.
Okay.
These are designed to fit into existing masonry fireplaces to convert an inefficient, 10% efficient fireplace where all the heat's going up the chimney into something that's going to burn all night long and give them the amount of BTUs and heat to heat the whole house.
Okay, so just before you go to bed, load up this, and then in the morning you still have some embers in there to work with for a morning fire.
Yes, pretty good bed of coals. They just have to throw some logs in before they leave for work.
That's great. All of these are great, and I'll tell you, it's very simple to have a wood-burning fireplace installed, especially if it's new construction. Manufactured fireplace units typically go in during framing. In this case, the location is a corner that has been framed out like a triangular closet. The unit is set in place, positioned and leveled before it is secured to the wood framing. It's important that the framers be aware of the clearances required for the fireplace so that it fits well and operates safely. The chimney on these units is a system of double-walled metal pipe that goes up through the attic and out a framed chimney chase on the roof. After the drywall is installed, the hearth, surround, and mantel can be installed to complete the fireplace. Of course, some people are a little old-fashioned, and that means if they're going to have a fireplace, it better be a true masonry fireplace. As the name implies, the mason is the key in these jobs because everything hangs on his skill. The layout has to be right or the fireplace won't draw smoke properly. It also has to be structurally sound because it'll have to support a heavy masonry chimney as well. These are rarely inexpensive fireplaces because of the amount of highly skilled labor involved in them, but when they're done, they certainly are beautiful. Another option to enjoy that wood-burning experience in your home is to install a wood stove. You know, Ben Franklin had a pretty good idea in designing this type of stove so that it radiates heat all the way around the stove so that you can really warm up those rooms. You know, they're available in all kinds of sizes and shape and can really add a lot of character to any room in your house. Now, technology has also made these units very efficient. Now, Jerry told me earlier that one of the most popular units out there today is a stove that burns wood pellets. Now, wood pellets are a renewable resource made from compressed sawdust. They're very convenient, clean, and easy to safely heat your home. Hey, while I look around the showroom a little bit more, check out this week's Simple Solution.
It's time for this week's Simple Solution from home repair expert Joe Truini.
Hanging drywall is a fairly easy project, but sometimes homeowners have a tough time cutting around all of the outlets.
Well, you can always, of course, just measure and mark the location of the outlets onto the back of the drywall. But here's a much easier way that reduces the time it takes and almost completely eliminates any mistakes you might make. First, we're going to put it about in the exact position, about halfway on there, on that stud. We're going to lean this back. Lean it down. We're going to mark the location of the box onto the back of the drywall with a tube of lipstick.
So you have lipstick in your nail
I
apron,
do.
huh?
Today I brought some. So you just pick any lipstick that's a nice bright color, and you'd go all around the entire box. Make sure you hit all four edges. Put a nice thick coating on there. And then when we tip the sheet back and press it against the wall, you'll see that it leaves, it's going to leave an impression right on the back of the sheet, exactly where it needs to be.
Okay.
Cut that out for me. You want to cut right on the line or just outside the line. And just line your sheet back up, press it against the wall, and there you go, perfect fit.
That works great, Joe. We've looked at all kinds of different wood-burning fireplaces and wood-burning stoves. Let's catch back up with Jerry Woodward to talk about the advantages of gas fireplaces. Jerry, what are some of the advantages?
Well, the main advantage is convenience. This one here can be controlled by a remote control. That enables the customer to just be able to enjoy the fireplace instantly when they walk into the room.
Now, what about cost? Is gas fireplaces a lot more expensive than wood-burning fireplaces?
The relative cost of the units is roughly the same, but because these are direct vent fireplaces, they don't require all that extra chimney that a wood burner would require, so you don't have the cost of the chase involved.
Okay, all right. Now, one thing I have noticed about the gas fireplace units, they're so versatile. You can just about match any personality out there.
Absolutely. You started out over there by a unit that's more rectangle shaped to traditional with the louvers over the top and the bottom. Here we have the unit that's designed more in a European style with a more vertical look. The mantle and the marble fits in a much smaller area and gives a different look there.
Yeah, I like that, but I also have seen this at a number of trade shows. I love this, kind of like a picture on the wall.
Yes, absolutely, and if they don't have enough space or whatever, they can put a hutch underneath this unit and have the best of both worlds. We also have the unit that will fit diagonally right in a corner in a bathroom situation or in a dining room.
There's a lot of situations where you can really use a gas fireplace unit where you really couldn't fit in a wood-burning fireplace.
Oh, absolutely. We've got all kinds of different styles available in that respect.
Okay, all right. I noticed one around the corner here actually had masonry all the way around it. That has to be an advantage in terms of helping to radiate that heat out into the room.
Absolutely. This particular model is one of our fire brick technologies that maximizes the heat output from the unit and maximizes the efficiency of the unit. So if they're looking for ambiance and beauty as well as heat, this would be a good one to choose.
Now, that's a great looking fireplace without a doubt. Now, technology plays a big role in the efficiency of all fireplace units, but particularly gas. Now, sometimes a homeowner will realize an older gas unit is not as efficient as a new one. Apparently, the original design of this fireplace was to have a television directly above it. As we replace the fireplace, we're eliminating the TV cabinet because the design subjected the TV to too much heat, which led the homeowner to stop using it anyway. It's also important that the framing around a gas fireplace meet the safety specifications so that the combustible surfaces aren't in close contact with the firebox. Along with the new, more efficient firebox, we're also installing a new exhaust pipe to vent the fireplace. Finally, the new drywall, surround, and mantel are installed to complete a safe, efficient, and attractive fireplace. This is a wood-burning fireplace, but inside, gas logs that do a great job in simulating real firewood. Even the rock wool material at the bottom of the firebox actually looks like glowing embers. Now, there's a number of different types of gas logs that are available, any size, shape that you can imagine. Even if you have a preference for a certain type of firewood, you can find a gas log that looks just like those favorite logs. Now, if you have a masonry fireplace, you can still enjoy the benefits of gas logs if you have a clever plumber. The plumber will have to route a gas line down and go through the masonry firebox, which can be a little tricky drilling that hole. Then you hook up the fire logs and you're ready to go. But on a manufactured unit like this, it actually has a little knockout that the plumber can just knock that out, route his gas line right in, and you can enjoy the convenience of gas logs that, like I say, look pretty darn real. Hey, right now, check out our best new product of the week.
Let's join Danny at the Home Center to check out this week's best new product. Brought to you by the Home Depot.
Gardening has always been one of the most popular hobbies in the country, and many garden tool companies are developing tools that are very unique to make the gardening experience even more enjoyable. Here's a good example of the line of Hound Dog tools. This particular one is called the Garden Planter. Now, if you're planting bulbs or some small bedding plants, this will make it go so much easier. Just place the garden planter where you need holes for bulbs or small plants. Then use your foot to force the blades down into the ground, then lift it, move it over to the side, and squeeze the handle to drop the cylinder of dirt. You now have a perfect hole ready for planting. Another thing that's great about this tool is it can really save your back if you have a lot of planting to do. Instead of crawling around on the ground bending over, you can stand upright while you use this garden planter. Now, it has a few moving parts, so as far as maintenance, you need to lubricate those parts from time to time, and every time you use this, make sure it's nice and clean before you store it away in a good dry spot. Now, the total cost on this particular one is only $20. Pretty good value. So far, we've looked at a number of different types of wood-burning fireplaces, wood stoves, and different types of gas fireplaces. But for a lot of people, wood is the way to go. Now, if you live in an area of the country where firewood is kind of hard to come by or very expensive, you might try some of the manufactured logs that are out on the market. You know, they're fairly easy. All you do is place one of the logs in the fireplace, light the wrapper itself to get the fire going. Within minutes, you have a roaring fire that can last up to 4 hours. Now, there's a few of them that are available here that actually can create the sound of a real fire with the crackling sound. Another is a scented fireplace log that has the mountain air fragrance, if you like that type of thing. And there's also some that are very environmentally friendly that are made from 100% recycled wax cardboard. Now, regardless of what type of fireplace you have or what type of fuel you use in that fireplace, it's very important to use a fireplace safely and also provide all of the maintenance that's necessary for a fireplace. Now, that starts with an annual visit by a certified chimney sweep. Now, we caught up with a chimney sweep recently to talk about what's involved in that cleaning and inspection process.
Well, hiring the correct person who has the proper certifications and credentials to perform the inspection is the most important part of having the fireplace inspected. The individual should be certified by the Chimney Safety Institute of America, or in my situation, I'm certified by the Chimney Safety Institute of America. I'm also fire certified, which is Fireplace Investigation, Research, and Education. Fire inspector is familiar with the various levels of inspection that's required during a chimney inspection. There are various levels that are outlined by the National Fire Protection Association as levels 1, 2, and 3. In this particular situation, we're going to be performing a level 2 inspection because the homeowner had recently purchased the property and the history of the fireplace is unknown and there was no inspection ever performed before. If there's a level of creosote of approximately 1/4 inch or greater, I would recommend that the fireplace be swept to remove the deposits.
After your fireplace is nice and clean, there's a number of other safety tips to keep in mind. Now, if you have any branches that have grown over your chimney chase, they need to be trimmed back to a safe distance. Also, if there's any place that a bird can get down inside your chimney, you need to screen that off or put some type of wire to prevent that from happening because they can build a nest that can create a fire hazard. Another thing, make sure you have some type of fire screen to prevent any embers from jumping out into your living room, and don't overload your fireplace. It's a lot of fun to feed logs into a burning fire, but if you get too many logs in there, they can easily roll out onto your carpet. Now, there's 3 items that you just have to have in your house if you're going to have a fireplace. One is a fire extinguisher, another smoke alarm, and another one, very important, is a carbon monoxide detector. It's recommended that you have at least 1 fire extinguisher for every 600 square feet of living area. These should be installed on every level of the home in plain sight. However, you should avoid placing them directly over or behind a fireplace. Smoke detectors should be mounted high on walls or ceilings because smoke rises. Consider installing wireless interconnected smoke alarms that link together so that when one sounds, they all sound throughout the house. Like all fuel-burning appliances, both gas and wood-burning fireplaces are potential sources for carbon monoxide. This odorless, invisible gas is extremely dangerous, so if you have a fireplace, it's important to install a carbon monoxide alarm on each level of your home and near all sleeping areas. There's nothing more relaxing than sitting in front of a nice roaring fire. You know, there's a lot of options for fireplaces, so you're bound to find one that's just perfect for your home, and it does a great job in increasing the value of your home. Hey, we've spent a lot of time inside on this show. Let's head outside for Around the Yard.
Let's head outside for Around the Yard with lawn and garden expert Tricia Craven-Worley. Brought to you by Home Light, simply reliable.
You worked so hard out in the garden you had to break out the heating pad, huh?
Actually, I think it's a good idea for later, and I might just put it on my shoulders. But actually, this is a tip I have for you.
Okay, all right. How can that help us in the garden?
Well, I just got finished putting these geraniums into this flat, and I'm going to try to propagate them, which is very easy. Geraniums is one of those that is one of the easier ones to do.
And you just like clip little pieces of the active plant,
right,
and then you're trying to just root them.
Yeah, what I did, I set up the flat first, put some newspaper down so the dirt won't go through, and then put the potting soil in. I found a broken branch, which is a good one to try to transplant. And then I cut them into pieces, stuck it in the rooting hormone, and then put it in here. Now, the important thing when you do that is you also want to cut some of the leaves back so it forces the growth down.
I see.
Now, if we just had this in a warm area, too warm, like maybe over 70 degrees, it might cause bacteria and fungus to grow. But what we're going to do with that nice heating pad, if you'll put that right there,
all right,
okay, is we're going to create kind of like a little incubator. Now, if you wouldn't mind putting that there too.
Oh, just kind of to separate it a little bit.
Right, just separate it a little bit. And so what's going to happen is that nice warmth is going to come through, heat up the soil just enough to help promote root stimulation, and pretty soon I'm going to have a whole field of beautiful geraniums.
And normally you would have this, I guess, inside, maybe
out
of the way
very
somewhere.
Good point. I brought it out here just to show you.
Great. All I need is just a little bit of kindling and a half a dozen 6-foot logs. Well, I don't believe they'll let me build a fire in this famous 250-year-old fireplace, but I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the fireplace options that are available for your home. Now, whether you're putting in your first fireplace or trying to properly maintain a fireplace you have now, I hope some of the information we shared with you this week will prove to be very valuable.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Today's Homeowner. And don't forget to comment, like, and hit the bell icon so that we can notify you when new videos are posted.
And don't go anywhere, click around and continue the home improving fun.